Well, I think it's been about 2 weeks since my last DVD and Blu-ray update. It doesn't feel like that's that long. Well, it's not that long, but it feels like a shorter time. Anyway, I got another one here, so let's just get started. Gonna start with some TV shows here. So, Home Improvement Season 6. I've enjoyed this show from the beginning, but when I watched this one, I bought this box, or this season set. I don't know when, but it's been a long time. It's months and months ago, I think. And I started watching it, and I enjoyed it like I always have. But then after a little while, after 2/3 into the show, maybe 3/4, I don't know, I kind of lost interest, and I put it away for a while. And it was sort of laying in front of my TV for months before I got back to it. I watched a bunch of other shows, which I wanted to see more. This sort of kind of faded away a little bit. I don't know why I lost interest, but I came back to it after a couple months and enjoyed the last couple episodes too. But I'm not eager to get season 7 and 8. I will eventually, I guess, but as for now, I don't really feel like continuing right away. So I'm not quite as positive towards the show as I was before, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the show right now, because it might just mean that I don't like this season as much. I don't know. But it's a fun show still. Then we have a season, well, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia season 8, and I always look forward to getting these. And season 9, I look forward to getting that too, even though I did not think this season was that good, to be honest. I felt that before, like after first 4, maybe 5 seasons. What I saw, I felt, well, this is a little weaker than before, but still fun, you know. But with this season, I don't know, I didn't think that it was that good, to be honest, and that kind of surprised me, because it hasn't failed to entertain me before, but some of these episodes just were not good. They were just boring and tedious. It feels like, you know, if you've seen this show, you know, they're sort of typical ramblings or reasonings with each other. They're trying to come up with a solution to something, or they're trying to decide something, and their discussions feel very improvised, and it's just these, you know, absurd arguments, especially from Charlie, and they're just spot on before. I mean, earlier in the show they've been, I mean, really hilarious, but in this it feels like those kind of odd, characteristic dialogues, like they're trying to live up to what they did before, like they're almost copycatting themselves, or like they're desperately trying to imitate what they've done so well in the past, but they're failing to get there. It just feels pretty flat. It doesn't feel, I don't know. And the scripts are pretty bad too, or not bad, but they're weak compared to what they've done before. Doesn't really have the wittiness and creativity which it did before. I hope that season 9 will change that. I haven't seen that. I get them. I mean, obviously I get them on DVD, and I see them for the first time, having them on DVD. But yeah, I wouldn't say that this season is bad necessarily, but it is weak and not very memorable. So that's too bad. But I'm still looking forward to seeing more of it. I think I have one more show here. So I actually have 2 shows. So I guess I'll do the TV shows first. Rome, complete series here. This one I bought a little while ago. Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. It is very well made. It's one of those shows where, even though it's not too complicated to follow what happens, or not too hard to follow what happens, it's not too complicated. Some things went over my head, but overall it's not that difficult. Even though it is pretty, I do feel that it's probably worth checking out again, and you will probably see certain things differently, and appreciate things in a little more that you didn't before, maybe. Just to see new things on a second viewing. Just feels like the show has more to offer. So that's always positive when they can pull that off in a TV series. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of politics and diplomacy and stuff, which is interesting, but sometimes I am kind of bored with that, to be honest, and I find myself much more entertained or intrigued by, Lucius Varinus or Titus Pullo, or their a little bit more down to earth life, if you can call them that. Not dominated by, well, devious people. Maybe that's the wrong. Yeah. Anyway, not dominated by all of that stuff. All right. Well, it's a great show, but yeah, I never really got into it as I get into other shows. But no, it's really well made, and yeah. And the last show here, a bit of a different show, I suppose you could say. It's a Metal Evolution, a documentary series on the evolution of hard rock and metal. And this is by Sam Dunn and someone else too, but mainly Sam Dunn is the one who presents it, and he is pretty much the creator of the show. But there's someone else who has writing and directing credit too, I think. So anyway, yeah, it's pretty, feels very sort of conventional. They don't examine too much unknown territory. I mean, you have Kiss on the cover, and Metallica, and Iron Maiden, I think, and that's obviously they're big names. It says here too, Deep Purple, Black Sabbath, Scorpions, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, Alice Cooper. It's these big names that everybody knows about. Well, you know what I mean. They don't go into the underground really, and they talk about things which you've heard about a million times before. And I don't know. I would, for one thing, one of my complaints is that they barely even touch extreme metal. They go into it. They talk about Swedish extreme metal, for one thing, which was fun for me. But they mention black and death metal, I guess, for like 10 minutes. It's like just a little sidetrack in the thrash metal episode, I think, and then they go back to thrash metal. And it's just, would have liked them to talk more about that, because there are a lot of stuff there too. They treat it as a bit of a subgenre to thrash metal, where there's some good stuff. But okay, let's go back to the main thing, And it's not that small. There's more to it, I think. So, but yeah, and some of Sam Dunn's sort of conclusions, or his, for example, the genre trees, I don't agree with all of that. But I don't know. It's fun to watch. But yeah, it's pretty comprehensive. And I guess that's what he set out to do, not to explore the underground or to, I don't know. But it's good, but nothing more than good. Anyway, oh, actually, I have another show here. I missed one. It's Two Broke Girls Season 1, which was fun, but everything is sort of, well, I guess that's how it is with sitcoms mostly, but everything is presented in the first episode, and it's a good pilot. But after that, not too much new stuff happens. I mean, Jennifer Coolidge is introduced like halfway through the season, or maybe a little bit more than that. But otherwise, it's like not too much other interesting stuff. It's brought up or whatever. Anyway, but that's fine. It's a sitcom. I just felt that it can be a sitcom with a laugh track and, conventional and cliche even, but still bring new things to the table throughout the season or throughout the show. Anyway, some of the jokes are much too forced, I feel, and they're not funny at all. But overall, I enjoyed it. I mean, I watched all of it, so obviously there was something about it that I liked. I feel like there was something else I was gonna say, but I forgot. Oh yeah, they're trying to save up to $250,000. I think that's how much. Yeah, $250,000 to open up a cupcake shop or whatever, bakery, or and in the end of each episode they have sort of a counter of how much money they made so far. And at the end of the first episode, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So you get to follow them as they make more money. But the problem is they don't make any money. I mean, at the end of the season, if you feel this is a spoiler, then of course don't listen. But at the end of the season, at the end of 24 episodes or something, they've made not even $1,000. And I'm like, how the hell are you gonna get up to 250,000 if you can't even make $1,000 throughout one season? I mean, that's gonna be a lot of seasons, 250 seasons. Something happens in the ending though, which sort of implies that some change will happen, possibly. But still, I was like, holy crap, this is going nowhere. But anyway, it's fun. The show is fun. Then we have American Beauty, which is a movie I got for Christmas, and I have it on DVD, and I've seen it before a few times. But a few things I watched this time around, feeling things I haven't felt before, I guess you could say, like this classic scene where I don't know the actors' names, but and I don't even remember the characters' names, but the guy next door, he has filmed the most beautiful thing ever with a paper or plastic bag, dancing with the leaves in the wind. And there was something about that scene which really moved me and grabbed me this time in a way which scenes very rarely do. I don't know what it was, and it felt weird to me because that scene, I've sort of taken it for granted before, being something iconic but not necessarily good, to be honest. But this time I was like, holy crap, something happens when I watch this inside of me. I don't know, but it was really, interesting. So yeah, only a few things towards the later part of the movie which is not close to perfection. So obviously a high grade to this, or a high rating for my part. I think this would have to be in my top 100. I think. I have no idea where, and I don't know if I ever will be able to make a list like that, but it's that good. It's really, really great. And Kevin Spacey is great, but I also noticed this time around, which I haven't before for some reason, that Annette Bening is terrific as well. Great movie. Then we have Get Shorty and Be Cool, two movies I've been wanting to see for a long time. Get Shorty was fun, Be Cool was pretty bad, but still fun actually, but bad. But this one was much better. And I don't feel like I have too much more to say, actually, but you don't need to see this, even though I don't have any problems with it. It's a pretty bad movie, but it's fun to watch. However, this one is it's pretty good, and a great cast, and if you like crime comedies anyway, then definitely check it out. Then we have the Buddy Holly story with Gary Busey. And I'm pretty sure I've never seen a movie with Gary Busey from this early before. It was pretty good. Now I know more about Buddy Holly. Was a rock and roll. He is a rock and roll legend, I guess, but he was a rock and roll musician in the late 50s, mid to late 50s. And that's Gary Busey plays Buddy Holly, so pretty good. Then this one I watched yesterday, and it's The 10. Jessica Alba does not have a very big part in this. I guess she's the biggest name, I guess. So they put her name in red, and they have her like way bigger than the rest. But that's not, that's not how it is. But yeah, it's the 10 Commandments. They're told in 10 stories, very ridiculous, kind of satirical or parody stories. And if some of them are pretty funny, like the first one with Adam Brody, I thought was pretty funny when he gets stuck in the ground. It was just so stupid, but it definitely worked for me. But after that, a couple of them were pretty bad. And overall, there's no substance to this movie, and they're not very clever either. Some of them are a little bit clever, but most of them, they're just feels like an excuse to make a stupid movie. To be honest, I don't know. It's fine, but pretty bad. Then I think this is gonna have to be the last one of this update. Let's see what the loneliness of the long distance runner by Tony Richardson. I bought this on a cheap sale, and I bought another one too of his, so I'm definitely gonna have to watch that one pretty soon, because this one was great. The British movie from 1962. I'm sorry about it. I really don't have much to say about it, but it is a great movie. Kind of like a coming of age story, but in a way, and involving crime, juvenile delinquency, and a part of what's called apparently the kitchen sink realism, part of the British New Wave. It's a great movie, and I definitely recommend you to check it out. But now I don't have any more time, so I will save the few titles that I have left for the next update. And thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.